And I am back. What's going on, guys? It is me. So I've been out for a bit. I'm not gonna explain because, eh, you know. eh. But we are back during the Smogon Snake Draft, and we've got a game between Nat and Mr.Aldo, two players that I'd like to see. Well, I don't know. It's to say I want to see everyone succeed, obviously, except for the people that even the people that play me. I don't really whatever. Fuck my record, right? Um, but I guess two players that I have stuck my neck out for in the past, and I guess therefore have some kind of a personal stake in the matter. Though I will say that previously it came with the caveat of suggesting that Mr. Aldo be paired with a dedicated player, and the fact that he is starting is something that I feel like has been a problem for a lot of up and coming RU players, including Nat in her previous Snake draft, as well as Feliburn during SPL. It's just like the transition period is a little tough, and I feel that getting immediately thrown into that starting slot can be difficult for players. Bearing that all in mind, though, we have some interesting teams. Mr. Aldo coming back with a few Pokemon that I think get put under the radar a lot. Nidoqueen and Doublade, as well as, of course, Drapion, which is known for its ability to, in this context, Pursuit, something that I think is pretty valuable, especially against Roserade. And I'm actually a bit biased in this. I know Nat's team. This is actually a variant of Sand that I prepped for for some people that I know during the Open. And I guess that a couple edits were made because did I have Giga Drain on the Rose? I don't rightly recall. I guess that, I don't know, point being, it was Yachi, Sleep Powder, Grass Fire, Spikes. Maybe this, I'm not recalling which stab I used. But I feel as though, in this context, I would have gone for the Spike there, rather than Giga Draining into the Noivern, because really, what was the play that was going to, gain you traction that way? If not, I mean, I felt like in every context it was either staying in, which Giga Drain's not good for it, or freaking spiking up. And of course, making the solid play there, going for the Earthquake into the Blastoise, because it's usually the play with these kind of teams, especially now where your flyer is A, Noivern, not very good for Lex Switch, and B, Virizion, which I feel like it's always a little touchy, but oh, nice. So actually, these are yeah. I mean, people are clowning on it, but I'm pretty sure that I actually did EV it specifically to always live that. And I know that it has a ton of attack investment. My set is actually, and it could have been changed. I obviously don't know. But it's like pretty high on the spectrum. Brave Nature. This is Cursed Gyro Ball, which does not always see play. I actually am rarely advocating for that particular variation. But it does see use here because it is a lot stronger. It has context in this more aggressive team, I feel. And the ability to be supported by Gateless Sand, granting it, the Sand Force, which is huge. There's a lot of leaps in power that can be achieved with the transition from Gyro Ball to Heavy Slam, and in addition to that extra attack investment. But I feel like I'm consistently talking about that. This is a DD Gator. It is something that I feel has a lot of merit, but is kind of difficult to work with a lot of the time. But right now it's actually super threatening, as you can see. Kills the Nidoqueen. I mean, it depends. There could be sets that live that, but it's very difficult to achieve. And it wouldn't be able to OHKO back unless it was freaking T-Bolt or Thunder, which, I'm a big fan of Thunder. Still, I guess the biggest problem is with Pursuit critting there is more than anything that Nat is now unaware of what Drapion variant this is, because Choice Scarf is an option. I'm not huge on it, but I recognize the niche of it. And goes for the all-out pummeling. It's kind of the safest all-around play, but Noivern is a pretty excellent switch to everything except for like Continental Crush, because I run some attack, not a ton, but enough. And looking at this is just kind of the reason that I love Noivern so much, because it mandates all these kind of ridiculous plays. Oh, gross. Actually, this is probably fine, though, because I think that you can, it was Banded Gigalith, and especially, it's Banded Gigalith, and this is kind of a pretty free-ish throat chop, honestly. Getting the chip on Virizian's fine, and anything else, whatever. But either which way, I think that this is allowing for a pretty safe double to, for Alligator there. It's not great, obviously, but I think that the ability to just, go for this and mash into it is still pretty good for her. The main concern that this warrants, and I keep eyeing, gosh gracious, it's been a long time, guys, but the main issue would be that Virizion could potentially sneak into a, I do it again, Crunch, but she does go for the DD, and this is pretty interesting because it showcases, just how freaking bulky for Alligator is. Like, that is pitiful damage. 35, I think that's part of the reason that I think that Alligator's a little underappreciated right now. It's obviously not the easiest to get traction with offensively, but if you can support it well, it is really good at making those turns. Like, it can set up on pretty much everything. Cleaning is super simple once you've removed or weakened certain Pokemon, and with a team like this that can use Stoutland to pursue a Gardevoir, which is something of an unconventional approach to Scarf removal, but one that I like here, and something like a Gigalith that can explode on freaking Milotics and whatnot, I think that it can be super potent. So that was kind of the general basis behind this team. I guess that she decided to make this building decision in order to sort of vary things up, go against her usual tendencies as a builder, and I think it's really paid off here. Not to, toot my own horn or anything, but I think that this has been performing exactly as intended, and now we are at a spot where it looks like the combination of Stoutland plus Noivern can just kind of finish this up. Gigalith being frozen is a bit of a bitch, but a lot of the time you just need to sneak it in, activate the sand, and do anything off of that. But yeah, Noivern comes in here. It's slightly safer than the Stoutland, because I think at that point Aldo kind of had to play off a sort of a choke in a way and try to Sacred Sword there if he was going to do anything at all, but that is a fine play as is, and this can just fire off. I think that you can just fire off the Z Fly here, which I guess I'm going to reveal here is Z Fly. He doesn't need to actively respond to anything else, and this would just keep a switch in here honest. Oh, goes for the flamethrower. Alright, that's fine. I was of the mind that at this point you could just freaking go into Gigalith, sack it, and then click return with CB Stoutland twice and clean up the game. Drapion's well in range. I believe Virizion is too. Maybe I'm underrating Virizion's physical bulk because I've done that from time to time. But I believe that 110 Stoutland is now strong enough to totally get away with it. That being said, maybe... You know what? Maybe Virizion is keeping, or rather, keeping Noivern healthy, or keeping the Z around is healthy in the case that this is a sub Virizion, which exists and isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. So I guess he's just going to try for this here, and I guess his win condition he's looking at right now is hoping and praying that the Noivern isn't Z and therefore has to. Oh, nope, he's not even sub. Okay, so yeah, there you go. It explodes. It is Banded Gigalith, and he gets to finish up with the Stoutland, as mentioned. So, aside from a little bit of salt in reaction to that, which is lame, sure, but yeah, pretty interesting game. I think that there could have been. Everything was fine, but I feel like it was fine in a very reactionary sense from Aldo. A lot of it was, like, I have to go to this to respond to this, I have to go to this to respond to this. And when you're always, like, on that back foot, when you're always reacting to threats rather than being the threat, it becomes a problem in developing and substantiating an endgame, especially with a bulky offense like this. So I think that was probably the biggest fault you could, really pinned to this. Otherwise, I think it was, again, interesting, and I'm kind of happy that this team got to showcase like how it operates on a major setting, because it's gotten some play in a Grand Slam and done well there, but it's cool for these kind of sets, like the Stoutland Sand with Feraligatr, like all these Pokemon that are really, blips on the radar right now, operating like that. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more content out in the near future. I mean, there's lots of games, and I just need to get around to, doing it, getting off my ass. So, thank you. I appreciate your patience in the matter, and you have a beautiful day. Thank you.